Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. I just wanted to just mention that this music is not ours. Does not belong to Right and Wrong Exposure. However, I do want to give credit to this creator of this music, producer, executive, etc. Via the YouTube creator. It is his name is Didker. He's Didker, the producer. That's Didker. So I'll just continue to let the music play, and we'll get her started very shortly. So tune in and please share. Today's broadcast will be about the dialogues of the Aborigines. Oh, and excuse me. It's not meant for immature audiences. You can feel free and speak your mind, join in. And, if you need to use some foul languages, you can. It's allowed on this one. I'll call it explicit language, not foul, but we'll call it explicit if you'd like to use that. But we'll be right back. Thanks. One moment. Okay, sorry about that hesitation. I was just sharing towards Facebook here. I actually wanted to open up several of my YouTube pages because there are actually several topics that I want to basically underline, shall I say, and not go into too depth. And I just don't want to just be throwing various topics out there, but I do want to express and tell you about it momentarily, how and what I'm doing to try and make things a little better. So one of them, or some of the immediate things I want to discuss or talk about is the abduction of our women and children. That is a more immediate topic of discussion. However, there are so many to be talked about and discussed. And then as I look over the various YouTube channels, or as I open it up 3 different times from my Gmail account. And what I noticed is that it would repopulate to something different. It's not always the same. I suppose there's a reason for that, but so I see a lot of rhetoric, gossip, and a lot of you or someone else may look at what I'm doing as a lot of hot air, but actually, as it pertains to that first topic on a more immediate topic as well is the abduction of our women and children, meaning Aborigines, all across America. And speaking of America, and it also is happening all around the world as well. There's nothing new under the sun, and this has been happening under the cloak, and that cloak is keeping you busy with other things, so many different things to do or to talk about, and you're weird. Perhaps one can perhaps lose their footing if you don't, stay focused. It's a lot to disseminate. It's a hell of a lot to digest at times. We do have to take a mental break, So as I have been watching a lot of documentaries. I've been watching a lot of YouTube creators, and I, like them at times, and for the most part, I don't like them all. So I don't hit the thumbs up button, but I do want to mention just for a moment some of the ones that I do like, which is it's not necessarily the shows, but I will mention them if I see it to be of relevance. But in particular, I like, and I hope I don't mess up her name, Shahrzad Ali, and it's Sharhzad Ali. She had a very powerful, and I don't know how many books she's got, but I know of one that she put together for the family, and when I say family, I mean Aborigines. She basically told the women as well as men, basically I call it their place, and she didn't hold back, and I was just elated to hear what she was talking about, and I will definitely be reaching out to her. I see also Ghana is in the news a lot more, as well as the many countries on the continent of Africa, and so as there are many topics to talk about, there are many things that's coming our way each and every day. Excuse me. And so, what am I doing about so many women and children? So many women and children being abducted each year. So what I've done was I created a security company, and this was, I believe, it's not quite a year yet that I had it. Actually, it's been only quite a year. It's only been since the end of August. So I feel as though I'm so many years behind on doing so, and the reason why, and by telling you right now, I'm actually telling you my niche, sort of, and that is quite simply to protect, defend, and defend our women and children, the Aborigines. If we as men need to volunteer our time and even extra time, then that's what we need to do. And This is not being put out there for someone else to run off with it. This is a collective effort. However, you can also create a security company as well. However, it is a C corporation, and I have a reason for that. But I can't, cover every place, nook and cranny. I need help as well, and I'm willing to do more than just sit behind my desk. I do a bit of fitness and exercise, and try and stay young and fit as possible for if and when the crazy sugar honey iced tea, the crazy shit, I'm lingering with my words, but when the crazy shit breaks off, I like to use sugar honey iced tea. But that's my preference. You feel free to, express yourself how you'd like. As my siblings, I would say I could never do it well anyhow, so I really can't curse well. So it's not quite in my vocabulary, but I do use it time to time. So I don't want to get off the subject there. I do want to get excuse me, people. That is just rude. I'll just take my finger off the mic when I need to do that. So when you hear the skipping, that's what's happening. And so this has been happening for a long time. All you have to do is just pull up the information that is being given. It's I just don't know how accurate that information is, even when we're being given it. We have so much sugar honey iced tea happening. 1 second. All right, and we have so much on our plates and all around us at the same time. It's just amazing. So I don't want to be talking in circles. I don't want to not move forward with just talk. I mean, just paper. I want to move from paper, and that's why I created CCS Security Pros. I created other companies for other reasons. Like I didn't see much of our history within the history books. So, and also as far as television goes, and the types of programming. So I literally stopped watching television back when I was 12 or 13. Yes, so many televisions you can't get away from, but I just don't. I just don't spend my time doing so. So much happening, and technology is one of those reasons that things have been added to each and every one of our plates. Yes, technology helped to do that, because now you can do more, right? And you got transportation instead of the cars, and the trains and planes instead of the horse and the buggy, or walking, or riding a bike. So, we have a lot on our plates. I like to balance it out. I do spend a lot of time on my desktop. However, I'm only one person, and I look forward to my business funding one day. But so I won't put everything out there as far as what I'd like to do, but with the CCS Security Pros, that is one of the ways. And as you know, Aborigines, we melanated individuals, we need to begin to police our own neighborhoods. We need to teach our own women, children, even grown-ups who are don't know how to read as well. There are some out there, and I'm no better than those individuals who do not know how to read or write. I want to reach out and do as much as I can. Before I leave this physical realm, yes, there is a spiritual realm out there, and well, actually, we're more so spiritual than physical. This is a temporary shell, so that's why I look back on what I'm doing now and what I've been doing, and how many distractions there was in my past. So if I had started CCS Security Pros back when I was, say, in my young 20s, then I would have a lot more years to fight the power. Very much. Because it's the power that be that pretty much have all of thee. That's us. Dumbed down, and I call it dumbed down because of you literally can be programmed. The television, the television programming. I do use it to see what my competition, my opponents, my enemy, you do have to check them out just as well as they're checking me out right now. We as Aborigines don't really believe in, or I don't know as we, but I just feel as though that we are a people that is the least to hate another first. We would probably be the last ones in that line. Now, and I'm skipping around subjects here, but I'll get back to the my ways that I plan on countering or preventing abductions of our women and children. It's just, again, one of many topics of discussion, and I'm trying to basically wake a lot of the alpha males up, or out of I don't know what you would call it. I guess on that note, I need more than just listeners. I need action takers, motivators, innovators, it's not what I need. I'm looking also to do so many other business ventures, and so they're created for a reason, But I need strong, and I don't mean physically, I mean mentally. To help put things into action, such as helping in the redevelopment of our youth and our elders as a community, to be able to teach our own. Like in the U.S. right now, there are so many states that have homeschooling, and it certainly can be done as a larger group, but at least we'll be teaching our own, and one would need to be qualified, certified, and whatever else needed, meaning amongst ourselves, not getting a grade or a score or approval based on someone else, because we, as the original Aborigines, are the true natives of the Americas. And that's the truth. We are the so-called Native Americans as we have today. We are them. But for some reason or another, we were denied the right to acknowledge or even say, I suppose, I don't know, but those strong men are certainly willing to die to do so. They are not afraid of anything except God himself. Yahweh, shall I say, I'm sorry, Yahweh. There are many gods, but there is only one true creator, and that's Yahweh. Who is Yahweh? Yahweh. Well, that brings up another curiosity of mine, or an underlying topic, and that's, well, when you say, well, go and do the research. Well, first off, many of us back in the day, and it has trickled down, many of us we were prevented from reading, learning how to read, and we know how it all began, and many of us have heard the tales over and over and over. Well, the reason, I'm telling you, and many middle-aged Aborigines would tell you, they'll tell you not to stop telling it. Why? Until we get what we want. And sometimes change, and I'm not advocating it, however, as Ecclesiastes states, there's a time and place for everything, And now's the time for the Aborigines to wake up from your sleep. I haven't learned everything. I'm still digging myself, but I did learn a lot, and I'm eager to learn a lot more. And yes, there are fact checking. So, as some of us are told, well, go and do the research. Well, aha, there's an aha moment. Meaning, some of us, if you don't know how to do the research, meaning if you're running toward Google, thinking Google is the way to research, it's one of a quicker way to do some searching. But actual research with the source, not hearsay, can certainly, it's a combination of a number of things. It's not just like, yes, you can quickly go to Google, but Google is, it, I'll put it like this: Google biases your search. For example, in the beginning of this broadcast, I stated how I opened 3 different YouTube channels of the same channel. Why? I did that for a reason. I really explain it, but I wanted to just see. And so I found out. However, there is a way to truncate your searches within any search, but in particular, Google search. And so, abduction of our women and children is just one topic. And when I say I, meaning alpha male, to collaborate and to network with other Aborigines males. And it's not just a male thing, but however, our ladies can, they have their part, I'll put it like that, as well. We've got some pretty tough women out there, I know. So, I feel also on a different note, before I find a different selection of music, is that everything, and I'm not saying this to brag or boast, because, I myself was blessed with many, many talents, skills, and things like that. I'm still always trying to keep sharp or sharpened. But everything that Aborigines touch turn to gold. Everything. We're all from royalty. We're all from royalty. Now, if we're from royalty, yes, when we were being forced into slavery, we were, yes, enslaved. Yes, we were sharecroppers. But when they were, forcing us into it, and most of the slaves, originated out of Jerusalem. And we're from the tribe of Judah. But again, that's another topic of discussion. There are many, and I plan on taking it, I don't know, well, since it's, what do you call it, you guys' holidays, I'll take this broadcast for as long as 2 hours tonight. Yes, 2 hours. So we're half an hour, a little over half an hour in. And let's see, that would put us at, 10:30. So with that said, feel free to chime in as well, So I already told you that the shows get graded later. Again, it gets graded later. This is Right and Wrong Exposure pod broadcast. And excuse me for a second. And the name of this show is called The Dialogues of the Aborigines. And forgive the typo on the title. I'll change that momentarily. However, what you see right now, it's spelled correctly. Okay? All right, so... All right, well, hopefully the desired tune will play, so let it play.
You need great marketing videos to grow your business. With Promo, you can create commercial level.
This tune is again by Didker, Didker, Didker producer. All rights and credits go to he or she. I'm assuming this is he, but alright, all credits go to Didker producer. Let it flow. We'll be right back. Okay, people. What's going on with you? Super quiet. That's all right. Well, again, this show is called the Dialogues of the Aborigines. Again, the Dialogues of the Aborigines. That's the name of this particular show and series as well. I am Walter McCrary Jr. and I'm doing my best to help in the redevelopment of our youth and our community as a whole, locally, nationally, and worldwide. We need to network more, not just networking amongst cliques. However, you know, I believe that you shouldn't jump into a partnership with just anyone. So I'm saying we may not all get along, but however, we can certainly network and learn to get along, learn or discover one's differences. So we have, or there are various talents out there. So why not? Because I'm not Captain Save-A-Hole, or I am not, every man for every woman, or it's going to take the entire village. That's what it's going to take. As a matter of fact, we probably need to go back to the villages. I was just looking at Mayotte, right off the coast of Africa, and Madagascar, I believe, is right there as well. And just look at how they do some things, and look all around them. There's fresh fish and fresh fruit, and not much frying. Mostly broiling and sauteing. So as you get older, you want to slow down with the hustle and the bustle, as we sometimes use. However, as I saw the what do you call it, I don't want to put that out there, but they're pretty young out there on, I believe, Mayotte. They're 20 and under, and that's about 55 or so percent of the population is that young. And so I'm mentioning that because they have fresh fish, fruits. That means that they can live for a long time, versus the cholesterol that some of us naturally put within our bodies, fried foods and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with fried foods, but you pretty much eat it every day. There's a big difference. But health and fitness is one of another topic of discussion. The health of our community, and we do have a lot to talk about. However, it's not. We shouldn't be talking to bring another down. And yes, you're going to have some of those within every neighborhood or every community. And the reason I suggest that we, in my opinion, go back to segregation for self-preservation. So again, that's how I feel very strongly, and you may feel that way too, but don't want to express it. But that's how I feel. I feel that from every angle, we have been downtrodden as a community. Yes, we have had grates to get through the cracks, but in the enemy's eyes, he is just a piece of meat ready to be used for entertainment purposes, and in some cases, medicinal purposes. And in not all cases, but as we see most recently, it's majority cases. A lot of cases, consistent, that it's like you might as well say, next. Okay, next. All right, next. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we, for the most part, the Aborigines experience some form, whether directly or indirectly, some form of racism. This is something that we experience on a daily, and our forefathers and mothers who came before us went through worse hell and high water. The colonizers, whites, 4 different classes of them, and don't feel bad if you're white and you're listening to this, because all that you'll hear on this broadcast, it's not speculation, it's the truth. And you may not have been here or been around at the time that your forefathers and or mothers, well, my father didn't, my father, my mother. Yes, your father and your mother, forefathers and mothers before you and before them and before them, reflects back to you to this day. Yes. How do you feel? How do you feel now that you conquered America? How do you feel? Tell me. Oh, okay. Now I see your chest is up a little puffed out there. Okay. So, can you tell me more? How do you feel to be able to walk around after the building of this land? Yes, you rebuilt and restructured, yes, but initial building of this land. And we showed you that example soon after we were so-called freed, and that freedmen doesn't apply to us. Just when, technically, when that the president, ex-president Lincoln, freed us, it's not for the reasons you say. And yes, I can underline pretty much everything that you have done for talking to the colonizers. When I say you have done to the Aborigines, and yet and still to this very day, hour, second, and beforehand have created and still tweaking laws to suit the colonizers for the most part. You have convinced others from, or the, shall I say, the true African Americans, and I call them true African Americans because they're from Africa. Yes, everyone originated from Africa, but catch up a little bit and understand that I'm talking about those who are coming from Africa today and a few centuries ago. Those are meaning Somalis, Africans, or not Africans, but Nigerians, Liberians, Ghanaians, Sierra Leone, Guinea. Okay, they come over to America. They are African American. The Aborigines, talking about the natives of this land, the Americas, we are not African Americans. We're not going to adopt that BS. We're not going to adopt it. Actually, I don't even check it off no more. Because we're not. Geronimo, that was an that was an Aborigine. That was a black male. There are many, and I'll one day underline those as well. Pieces of history that was trashed, thrown out, tried to be forgotten about, hidden, buried. What do you want to call it? You tried to cover up the incident in Florida. That's why you buried most of the town, all of the town, and those who got away. But you buried the people, the entire town. So when we were freed, what did we do? Well, once we were freed, and probably you saw it springing up overnight, but within a month, we probably had stores, schools, churches, everything, grocery stores, everything within a month. I mean, you saw it being erected, built. But this is the part where you can understand. How did they build their towns so fast? Well, do you remember when your forefathers and your mothers had us working from sun up to sun can't see? Well, you worked the sugar honey iced tea out of them. I'll say out of us, okay? And there was definitely teamwork in the fields. And yes, we know about those in the fields, as in a lot of our women were breeders, and a lot of you Caucasian men, colonizers, to this day, is still trying to whitewash this planet. It's not about black, white. No, it isn't. It never have been. However, it was forced upon us. Remember, you colonizers, you were the ones who created racism for division, for conquering, for many other devious things. And now things are getting a bit more complex. And of course, I know, trying to wake up the rest of them, that your plans are as long as 200 or as 100 years at a time. 100 years at a time. I hope I didn't. I just got a periodical look down as I press in the mic to make sure that you can hear me. So don't get pissed off when someone puts the truth back in your face or your lap. And don't get mad. What I'm telling you, I believe a lot of Aborigines won. Some may be afraid to say it. I'm not. You know, I want the profiling to stop, and now you've got a new way to do that. It's not just now, just happened. We certainly have been working on things for years. So this is what you call an impromptu. Yes, I knew the show needed to go on today, but it is a impromptu topic of discussions or whatever I was going to talk about. I didn't have it planned out. I just knew I needed to do the show. I am one person who has put together several business endeavors, and to me, I believe it's the power that be that has been keeping the funds away from thee. That's me, so that ye, no, so that you could actually partake as well, because it's not about the money, again, for me, but it is about the money. Meaning to get a little in order to spread the wealth. Now, when I get back, we'll talk about billionaires and so-called smart and intelligent minds. They're not so-called, they are smart, and they are intelligent. So I'll give them their props. But billionaires and the intelligent minds out there. So with that said, we'll go ahead and get this music started. Looks like we have about an hour left for this program. So, all right. So we'll be right back. I'll give my finger a rest, and we'll talk about billionaires. And intellectual, no, intellectual individuals. All right, thanks.
Why aren't you the landlord? Yes, you. Why aren't you the landlord? Every day.
Okay, well, welcome back. Welcome back to the Right and Wrong Exposure pod broadcast. I'm Walter McQuarrie Jr., and the topic or our title of this show is called The Dialogues of the Aborigines. So I hear that, of course, I've been watching Africa is the continent of Africa is looking to merge all of their currency into one, so they'll eventually have one voice as of sometime in 2020 there. I believe it may be in April of 2020. That's a good thing, but it's not entirely a complete thing, meaning the colonizer still have their hands in the cookie jar. Have you ever wondered why, when Africa was colonized, why they never left? All you have to do is ask the Aborigines. We know that once you go black, you never go back. That's why you're still there, colonizers. That's why you're still there. To use, abuse, abstract, deplete, obstruct, just all over the place. Greedy bastards. For nearly 400 years. Plain and simple, take your ass home. Give up the land. Give up their rights. They want their own sovereignty. Go back to France and the rest of any other colonizers that are there or looking to colonize. I know that China is doing their part, but to Africa, to all the Africans, take your land back. Build your own sugar honey iced tea from raw materials. Learn if you have to, if you don't know how to, but do so. I know you're highly intelligent. I know you are. You've just been held back, just like Argentina's blacks. Yes, Argentina has Aborigines still there. Now, a little history on Aborigines or the Argentinas. Government, president, purposely inviting the Caucasian race over there, and now you have nearly 10% or less of Aborigines, meaning it has been diluted so heavily. It looks as if they're whitewashed, but they're not. They are Aborigines themselves denying their likes, denying who they really are. Now, we as the Aborigines know who you are. We know, meaning we know when you have some black blood in you, some of our blood, which is the dominant, meaning not the blood itself, but the melanated individuals, such as myself and others. Everywhere you go, colonizers, what do you find? You find that this world is made up of mostly, majority, Aborigines. the big lips and the big hips, something that the Caucasian woman and every other ethnic group is trying to get. This is why you have Botox, fatten the lips up. You got the hips. If you don't have them, you can immediately have them tomorrow. They're in the pants. However, we know when you got some of our genes in you as well, because you're built like a brick house. But don't believe that just because our women are built like a brick house, that it's meant for, that means that they are meant for breeding. No, that's not the case. As an alpha male, I want you colonizers to stop trying to take advantage of our women. You want all the men out of the way, knowing that our women have only so much strength. But there are some of our women out there that know how to do it a different way in order to move the community forward, or continue to move us forward. We, as a community, need to catch up in a lot of subjects. We used to teach the world. Yes. We used to teach the world. You remember, colonizers, we had some of the great universities. And no, I'm not living in the past, because we're still here. We are more than the descendants. We are a very strong and powerful people. Don't you forget it. So, can anybody answer me this? Of the precious metals out there, gold, silver, which of them, not just gold and silver, but what has, to this day, has more value than gold? Because gold is the highest. What is it that has more value than gold right now? Can you answer that question? I'll tell you. It's you, Aborigines. You're the only one with 100% melanin. Melanin is more valuable than gold. You understand? It's more valuable than gold. So that leads me into another topic of discussion. That topic of discussion is, you have the abduction of our women and children each and every year. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull up some statistics really quick here. And again, what I believe when I say statistics, it is the best and closest numbers that I can get you right at this moment. So, with our women and children being abducted each and every year, we have, excuse me for a second, we have an epidemic here. We have more than one epidemic. we have several epidemics. One is the abduction of our women and children. That's an epidemic. Hundreds of thousands going missing each year. Higher than that, probably, around the world. But a lot go missing. A lot are forced into, they're being trafficked, if that's the word. They're being forced into becoming sex slaves again. It's not something new, but it's certainly in the news. It doesn't get as much coverage in the U.S. than around the world. That's a fact or a truth. We have many of our missing that are found, and then you have body parts missing. I mean, down to the limbs and all. So Yahweh allowed it to be heard about in Chicago, and I don't know what state that was, but the young man, young teenager, long dreads, is he was found rolled up in a carpet or mat, shall I say, and we all know that was bullshit. Excuse the expression, but and his body parts, insides were gone. They stuffed him with newspaper. So I'm telling you to, as my mom taught me, to always be aware of your surroundings, both time and place. I mean, listen to the songs of the old school, as you young millennials call us, and inside of those lyrics, melodies, songs that we like so much, we told stories, or there were stories being told within the lyrics. And one particular song, and of course I'm horrible with lyrics. I really have to like something, but in order to recall it. But there was a song called "They Smile in Your Face. All the time they want to take your place. Oops, backstabbers. Look at the white girls now. They got the dreads like the sisters. Braids. White girls never used to braid their hair. Big lips. Wide hips. Big A. Yeah. So all the time they want to take your place. Yeah. But so yes, we know what all that we see on YouTube is not all fact. I mean, all true. I see a lot of gossip. I see a lot of rhetoric, and especially the gossip. Though I mean, we are we have fallen in line with our enemies, and the reason I say enemies, well, what are you? If you loved us, if you truly cared about us, why do you do us so wrong? Talking to the colonizers, the whites. Why do you hate the alpha black male Aborigine? Why? What do you? Why? What's the problem? Back in the day, back long ago, our children 12 and under used to be kidnapped. Still, some of us are still being kidnapped, but and fed to the alligators. You know, they wanted to make leather stuff. They didn't know how to, I suppose. You, you know, it could have been a different way. It could have been done a different way. But this is, that's cold-blooded. That's just heartless. You have no heart, no compassion. Now, I recall before the colonizers came over to America, I recall when the first settlers came over, I know that I wasn't here, you know, but I've done my research, and the first set of colonizers were thieves, rapists, crooks. You know, England sent them here, and it was probably purposefully done. Then you sent England sent over their diseased, you know, smallpox or whatever it was. Anyhow, it worked. Congratulations. This used to be the land of milk and honey. It used to be the land of milk and honey. Why did they call it that? Well, they called it that because of the rich soil and the way the fruits and the vegetables used to grow in different shades and colors. You know, go over to some of these small islands and see how everything is fresh, and plentiful, and colorful, and blessed by Yahweh. You have about 45 minutes exactly for this broadcast. You prevented a lot of our forefathers and mothers to do what we do naturally, and that is swim. A lot of us don't know how to swim. I don't know why that is. Well, I'm sorry, I just stated why that is. And it trickled down. To the colonizers, there is a psychological ill effect that has taken place, and you did that on purpose too. It's basically, for those who know, it's within our DNA, meaning the psychological ill effect has affected us down to the DNA. However, what Yahweh, the Creator, has created, is one thing that King James and his council, besides taking out a number of the books and changing it a bit here and there, he left in some truths. And that is, what does Yeshua, the Son, look like? What is the best description that you left in the book? And that was, his eyes were fiery red, his hair was like wool. Whose hair, out of all the ethnic groups on earth, whose hair is like wool? The stuff that is happy, nappy. It's the most diverse set of hair, or that's on a set of heads, than any. You want to compare? Well, let me take my nappy hair. That's right. It's nappy and happy. You can use it to defend, ward off. Let me take my nappy hair and rub it up against your forehead. Tell me if you can make it to 30 seconds. Anyhow, off the subject, back on the subject, and that is, you take that nappy hair, and sisters, be proud of you. I'll take you with some hair or with no hair on top of your head, your skull. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Grace Jones, you remember? The younger generation may not. Her name's Grace Jones. And she was near bald-headed, or you can say she was bald-headed for a woman. However, she was all natural, as in her hair. She was beautiful, absolutely. Like the most recent chocolate drop that just came out of Africa that you guys are all raving about, as if it's a new thing. You're allowing your competitor to dictate to you that black is back. Remember, it was dictated to all of us that black is whack, so to speak. But it's not. It has never have been. Just know that you are a brilliant people. Just know that. Not saying that others aren't, but just know that Yahweh will manifest himself in every living being, whether human, plant life, mammals. So I think I've been going for a little while here. So what's excuse me for a second. I'm talking to you like you can see me. What I want to do is to be able to go back into my history to do some things, but I can't right now. So I ran across this. It says master tracks instantly. Produce, we'll do the rest. Yes. So now what I see this to be, as I read it, is a form of digital producing or master producing online here. So, but of course, a lot of it will not be done online. They just obviously have a studio to do so. I call it a form of brilliance, but I can't. I want the masters. I don't want anyone to have the masters. So we'll see how that works. Professional quality mastering. So that actually leads me into another one of my business ventures, and that's right and wrong exposure, also known as raw exposure. This is Raw Exposure's pod broadcast. However, raw exposure is the media, news and media, plus cinema that's made exclusively for the Black community. Although we have been used, abused, showcased, and things like that. I mean, via where they make the movies that starts with an H. Basically, a lot of you have been dumbed down. The reason I say that is because if you don't see that they're using the same Black original Aborigines or Black people over and over again for many parts, that shit gets old. It gets old. No, sorry. Yes, I know I said I don't watch much, but sometimes I take one of those side breaks and watch a movie. That's if and when I have the chance, which is not much. So that's why I say you're being dumbed down, and you get the same people. Like, for example, I mentioned that I will be talking about billionaires and intellectuals. So, momentarily here, 1 second. And so, and then you rave about them. There's nothing wrong with it, I mean, yes, great acting. But, for example, we all knew that Denzel Washington was great long before he was, I don't know if he was forced or not, but into playing a villain. Oh, they probably say, oh, yeah, you really get, come on, he should have won many Emmys and whatever. So, to you, Denzel, in my heart, you've won many awards, many trophies. As a community, we need to uplift one another, not put one another down. I'll say this and then I'll get into the billionaire and the intellectuals. And that is, we need, in order to, I guess I'll save that toward the end, but I'll tell you momentarily on what we all need to do as a community in order to get back or get this curse off of our backs. And that is, I said I'll save it to the end, so I'm going to save it to the end, just before the end. But I do want to tell you, we've got the billionaires. It looks as if everyone is probably trying to get there, but the billionaires are not going to allow that. It's too late, actually. Not too late, but it's certainly not too late. It's just a matter of the billionaires. What I wanted to point out about the billionaires and the all of the intellectual minds in the world. What is it that they have not solved to this day? And if it has already been known, it certainly is not out there. And that is, billionaires are accumulating all the wealth because now you have something that's less than the one percenters, or I'm sorry, in reverse, less than one percenters in reverse. And that's us, the Aborigines, and the rest of the people on our level financially. And shall I say physical financials. That's the fiat. That's the currency, the monies that America has and all other countries has other than the fiat. Like in Ghana, they have the cedis, or the cedis, CEDIS. America has a fiat. World currency is the fiat. However, other countries such as China and Russia is looking to break off, and some other countries looking to break away from and a lot of countries have been breaking away slowly but surely. That's what I believe his name was Gaddafi was looking to do, was to looking to back his country with its precious minerals. That's the real commodity, not any country's currency. And a lot of, those smaller countries that I talked about, third world world, first world world, second world. But in a lot of cases, they have better teeth than Americans. That tells you a lot. Like I had a severe case of vitamin D deficiency. And this is why certain parts of my body is jacked up. But I've grown out of being superficial. And for the most part, I don't believe I ever was. I may have gotten caught up in the shadows of the limelight, because even with my skills and talents and blessings, I wasn't one to boast about it. Showboat, My ultimate goal is this, and that's to give. Humanity's goal should be this, and that is to give. Yes, do for yourself. But the ultimate goal is to give. To help others. If the billionaires spreaded their wealth back to the earth, all billionaires, America has most of the billionaires. We're not in a race here, but America has the most billionaires. However, they don't always have the top billionaires. But who cares? If I were to ever receive it, I would give majority of it away. I would. I would first invest in myself for sustainability, and then I would give the rest of it away, helping others, teaching others how to fish, and that's a general term, for themselves. I'm pushing for not only to help in the redevelopment of our youth in our community, but I'm also pushing for helping others to become more and more independent, self-sufficient, healthy, not diseased, to do better, to build on the talents that they have and the skills, to go and visit our elders and say hello, talk about things, and learn about things, that type of thing. I put up the background music as for future broad podcasts, and I don't know. Well, it looks like I got to take a commercial break here. It is 10:03, and then we'll have about 25 more minutes to end. Never did a 2-hour show before, but it's not bad. But I do want to go ahead and narrow down my focus. Before we end the show. So what I'll do is allow one full song to play, and we'll be right back. Thanks.
I'm finally free, but I had to ask myself, how do I add value online rather than in person?
I know how you add
I knew
it.
that one.
I use loops. It's important that they sound like me. There's
And back
Oh, hey, Jill,
momentarily.
new printer. Canon WG7200 series.
Very exciting there.
We'll be ending this show at 10:30. Be right back. Oh, by the way, this beat is by copyright-free music, royalty-free music, left, trap beats, hip-hop, instrumental. All rights go to CFM. Okay, welcome back to the dialogues of the Aborigines. Okay, well, this is the right and wrong exposures. Again, raw exposure pod broadcast. I wanted to just go ahead and end the show with to talk about creativity. And one of the things that I use to tap into my creative side is to spend some time alone and tap into the creative side of my brain. Creative thinking, using creative thinking a lot. And it certainly helps to bring out the best in you, the individual, the Aborigines, the true natives of the old Americas. Don't give up out there. These are words of encouragement to you. Don't give up on your struggles. Me, myself, I've been homeless 3 years out of the 31 years I've been in Minnesota. One thing that it taught me was to be frugal with my money, because while homeless, I learned to live with very little. And so when you accumulate and get back on your feet, just keep in mind to be frugal with your money and not to go and accumulate possessions, worldly possessions, the wants, not the needs. Just keep in mind it's about what you need versus what you want in order to better yourself. Sometimes you need to separate yourself from things, people, places, things. If you're hanging around with the wrong crowd, then you need to change. You don't need to isolate them, but you can certainly love another from a distance. Yeah. So, and if you don't know how to do research, you can certainly teach yourself to do research or find out a way to learn how to do so. And it goes for any and every thing. Right now, we're in a position to better ourselves. Yes, in a sense, pull ourselves up from the bootstraps again, because we certainly have done it before. We just need the colonizers to get out of our way. We don't want to do you no harm. We love everybody. We loved you enough to invite you onto our land, didn't we? We taught you how to live, didn't we? You know, cleanliness, sanitizing, cats and dogs outside, not inside. Now everybody's carrying a dog in their purse. There's a real tiny one too. But I'm saying to you, Aborigines, to be yourselves, to be unique. Don't go overboard, because you are unique, a unique set of people who need to look out for one another. I don't know you necessarily, like who's listening. But if I could, I would. All right, so what I want to do right now is, I don't know. What direction do I want to go here? 1 second. Oh, trying to multitask here. All right. All right. So we have about 10 minutes left, and I will more than likely have a closing. And I am running out of things to say. At least I can't recall what I was going to talk about. So let's go ahead and get you over to one additional soundtrack. This one is royalty-free music. No, I don't want to play that one. Let's go with the royalty-free music. It's a winner, or a winner rather. Orchestral hip-hop beat. All right. Once again, go to CFM, and just making sure that I don't run into another great one. Or let's see. Let's just go. Probably. Old school hip hop instrumental. It's free, real hit. Yeah. All right. Let's run with this one here. All right. We'll let this one roll, and we'll be right back. Sorry about that. I just wanted to go to a different selection there. And we'll go to a different beat again. This one sounds pretty good. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dialogues of the Aborigines. This is the Raw Exposure Pod broadcast. We're ending here, but I just want to express my thanks for you guys listening. Be sure to share, be sure to like. Remember to support one another to the point of almost no end. And remember to network because networking is key. As I stress all the time, it is key for us to establish unity and familiarity and a lot of other things that we can learn how to link up. So with that said, I don't have enough time to talk about some of the key things that will help us to break this curse, and that is that we need to go back to basically living, keeping His commandments and Yahweh's commandments and way of life. So that's what we need to do, is to go back to living and walking in His footsteps, in His path. He's already laid the path. However, yes, it is somewhat distorted with the various books of the Bible that we have, with a lot of the books gone. However, you can do your best research and somehow retain what's still left out there. But that's another show. And that's why I have various topics of discussion with background music already laid out. Once again, thanks for listening, and be sure to share. Try not to talk about other folks, because Yahweh will take it away from you and give it to another person. So support one another, network, and be safe out there. As we say, all the best, Godspeed, God's will be done, and that's about it. That's all I have. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. If I can't talk verbally to you,
you can play the music. All right, we're going to end this with Didker the producer. Thanks again.